definitely.
Astro tell us in any way whether we're getting denied or not?
This is a perfect storm. The market will finally get very overextended. You want to be completely out of crypto by
Can astrology really help us to predict the markets? In today's video, we are going to explore the very mysterious realms of astrology and hopefully get ourselves an answer to that very question. Joining me today is an astrologer with a very unique twist, someone who navigates the celestial bodies not just for personal guidance, but also to give him an edge on the financial markets and in particular, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So get ready to unlock the secrets of the universe and discover whether or not the cosmic alignments have the power to influence our economic landscape. Prepare to be captivated as our expert astrology shares some insights, some charts, and some predictions that might make you see the financial world in a whole new light. So whether you're a seasoned investor or just curious about the cosmic dance of the universe, this episode is sure to teach you something new. So be sure to hit that like button for our very special guest today and hit subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and be prepared for some mind-blowing content. My very special guest today is Astro TA's most on-point chartist, Mr. Crypto Damus, my very special friend. How are you, Mr. Crypto Damus?
doing well. Happy to be here.
I've wanted to do this for such a long time. I've been, as you know, a huge fan of yours for many years now. And, I follow what you say about astrology. It really helps me with my own charting as well, especially picking like the big pivots. So I'm really excited to talk to you today about, your history with astrology, with trading, and, how you combine the whole thing. So for the people that may not have heard of you before, give us a little bit of an introduction as to who you are and what you do on a daily basis.
Sure. Well, I'm a financial astrologer. I'm pretty much one of the leading financial astrologers specifically for cryptocurrency markets. There's a lot of financial astrologers out there, a lot of them covering stocks, commodities, crypto. But I really specialize in crypto and especially Bitcoin, because obviously the whole market really riding up and down on Bitcoin. So we spend a lot of time tracking Bitcoin trend and technical analysis. I've been an astrologer for over 20 years, and I started studying astrology right around the year 2000, 1999, 2000. So coming up on 24 years of study, practice. I also have the longest running subscription service. Just going to give a little shout out here. The longest running subscription service, financial astrology for cryptocurrency markets since 2018. And I started this project in 2017 just to see if we could track Bitcoin at all, if astrology had anything interesting to say about Bitcoin. I started reading a lot of books. I fell down the Bitcoin rabbit hole in 2017, started reading a lot about it, and I found out that it had this like Genesis block, time-stamped inception. And, as an astrologer, we're like, oh, anything that has like a birthday and an inception date, could potentially be predicted. So I started trying to study the Bitcoin price and astrology and try to predict it. And, we made some really good calls early on, and it kind of blew up and people got really interested in it. And I think that's for a variety of reasons, but crypto is like a global, it's a global thing. It's it's the first world currency that transcends banks and central banks and corporations and local currencies, transcends the dollar, the euro, whatever. Astrology also is like this universal language that people speak all around the globe that they can share together. So it was an interesting combination, and millennials really are very into crypto and they're super into astrology. So it's like all these things kind of came together, and the project really blew up and took off. And now we've got like 35,000 followers on Twitter. I've been lecturing at some big conferences around the world as well, just on this stuff.
So were you trading before you discovered crypto, or was it crypto that made you then become a trader and want to apply astrology to it as well?
Well, I had been interested in stocks. I had been trading the stock market since about 2010, 2011. I mean, so like after the Great Recession and the stock market crash of 2008, 2009, it's like, okay, well, we just had the big crash. This is probably a good time to get into the market. And it was, it was one of the beginning of one of the longest bull runs. And I got, made some early good picks on like Tesla, NVIDIA. I was trading NVIDIA back in like 2014, 2015, before most people had even heard of it. Now it's like what a top recommend on everybody's list. And I did 1,000% gain on NVIDIA from $27 to $270. You know, now it's at 500. It's already split a couple times. So I was interested. I started following the work of Ray Merriman, who's a legendary financial astrologer, and started noticing like the correlations between astrological alignments and the market moves, both general astrological alignments, but also in my own chart. And started saying, okay, like, wow, there's definitely some correlations here. I don't totally understand it. So then that's when I got interested in 2017. You know, I missed a couple of plays, right? One of the ones I missed was Apple, and I'll just like, you know, it's just irks me to this day because I knew like I really missed Apple. And so right around 2017, I started asking around like my friends, family, and clients, like, hey, what's the next big thing? What's the next Apple? What's the next Amazon? What's the next thing that's going to shake up the world? And one of my clients said, it's Bitcoin. This was in like the spring of 2017. And I was like, really? I thought that, you know, that was for nerds or, you know, or like, you know, dark web stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard about it first. I think it was in around 2014 when it went to like $1,000. One of my tech friends was talking about it. But 2017, you know, I didn't really pay attention to it. I heard about it. But I was like, yeah, isn't that dark web stuff? And he's like, no, you got to do some research, man. This thing is going to shake up the world. It's going to be huge. You got to understand the technology. And that's when I started reading about it. And I was like, I read a couple books. I read like 20 articles about it. And I was like, wow, this guy is right. And I started watching it. It was like, it went up from 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. By the end of September, it was 5,000. I was like, oh my God, this thing is going to take off. So that's when I started the astrology thing, was in the summer of 2017. Yeah. And I actually told a few astrology and crypto friends, I said, this thing's going to blow up in the end of the year.
Was your opinion it was going to blow up? Was that because you had applied astrology? Wow.
Yeah. That was the first really prediction I made. And I was way more right than I even knew. And I told people to buy it. I said, it's going to blow up. Now, 2018 was like a learning, you know, that was the learning curve year, right? I mean, I got hammered in 2018. I made some calls in the spring of 2018 that didn't play out at all. I was wrong, but I was actually right. I was just a year off. Like the thing that I was predicting happened in 2019. So I was able to recover and learn from the mistakes. And because I was telling everybody the big crypto revolution was going to come in 2018. Meanwhile, it was like one of the worst years ever. And then, you know, it actually has happened. You're never going to get it 100% right. But, you know, recently, I think I've been extremely accurate over the last 6 months. And we were given really big buy signals in September, October. And if you go back and look at my Twitter and my subscriber reports, you know, I was saying, we're FOMOing now. In September, under 30K, INJ gave the buy signal at $7, Link at $6 and $7, Bitcoin at, you know, under 30K. Said, we're FOMO now, they're going to FOMO later. And sure enough, you know, that's exactly what's been happening. And we're just sitting back and watching the numbers go up now. And that's really how you want to trade, right? Get your spot bags loaded early and then watch the numbers go up. You know, that's how we want, that's how we like to do it. 3-6 month time frame, year-long time frame. And then you can just skim the cream off the top.
So with Bitcoin, I believe there are some challenges, right? Because when it comes to an astrology chart, I don't know the right terms. You correct me if I say anything incorrect.
Sure.
But you know, when it comes to an astrological chart, you need to know the birthplace and the exact time in order to help you be more accurate. But there are parts of Bitcoin we don't know. Is that how it works? And so that sort of can throw time?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, right, to have an astrology chart, what we call a natal chart or an inception chart, you need the exact day, location, and exact time, right? Exact day sets you apart from everybody who was born that year, and exact time sets you apart from everybody who was born that day. Otherwise, you just get a general reading on the day. Location, too, of course. So with Bitcoin, it's time-stamped for January 3rd at 2009 at 6:15 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. But since we don't know who Satoshi is, we don't know where Satoshi was. So we don't know where it was created. However, I've spent a considerable amount of time doing what we call rectifying the chart location. And I'm fairly confident on the London location because we've had a lot of chance to study the alignments and how Bitcoin responds. And the London chart seems to be the most accurately predictive. So I'm like 80, 90% confident that it's London. And also, of course, it has the inception Genesis block has a quote from the Financial Times. So that gives more circumstantial evidence for London. I mean, certainly he could have been a British national or someone in the Commonwealth that reads the Financial Times, not widely read outside of like, Australia, Britain, and Canada, but it's not really read in the United States too much. But so there's that also. So London seems, that's what we're using now. But there's been endless speculation in the financial astrology community about the location. There are other possible locations, but I really think London is the key.
Does that mean that, because there is that mystery around, being able to be exact about it, does that mean that it would make more sense that you could be more accurate with altcoins? Because altcoins, you can.
I wish.
No?
No. Altcoins are less predictable than Bitcoin.
Really?
Because a lot of times, of course, they just follow Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, the altcoins are, it's just in general, right? I mean, in general, I think altcoins are harder to predict. They're more volatile, and they make those kind of unpredictable parabolic breakouts, and you never know which one's going to hit. And I mean, we're able to use the techniques for altcoins too. We're doing that for Solana, INJ, Link are the big ones that we're doing right now. Those are some of my top recommends. But yeah, the altcoins they're more hit or miss, I think, with the astrology. The main thing is, if Bitcoin has good astrology, pretty confident the altcoins are going to do well. Just a matter of a little bit more fine tuning on it.
I've studied your course, as you know, and there's something that you said in your course that I've always wanted you to expand on, because it was a real light bulb moment for me, and it's stuck with me to this day. You might not even remember it because you recorded your course so long ago that, it may not even be a thing to you. But to me, as a student, it was like, oh, wow. What you said in that video was, you said a lot of people talk about whether or not they believe in astrology. And what you said was, it's not a religion for you to believe or not believe in. It is an art and a science, and it is the perfect combination of an art and a science. So do you remember saying that?
Yeah. No, I that's a big thing for me, actually. I hate it when people say, I don't believe in astrology. It's just like completely incorrect statement. And it's an art and a science, and it combines the right and the left brain, and it's quantitative and qualitative. It's a very unique subject. There's really nothing else like it on Earth. And I really think it's a language. It's a language of universal principles and universal truths that can be applied to so many different things, interpersonal human relationships, predicting world events. There's medical astrology, there's relationship astrology, there's, financial astrology, there's just natal chart astrology, so many different ways you can apply it. But it's essentially a language. So just because you don't speak the language and it may sound like gibberish to you, you say, oh, I don't believe in Latin. It's absurd. Right? It's like, you don't understand it, but that doesn't mean it's not a language and people can't speak it and use it. On one level, it's a language. It's a powerful tool for understanding the nature of reality. There's many different ways of looking at it, but I don't think it requires belief. It just requires study to understand and observe how it works. And pretty much anyone who really sits down and puts in some time to study and observe the planetary movements, they're going to see the correlations to the market movements or events on Earth. I mean, right now we have, for example, Mercury rules transportation. It's debilitated in the sign of Sagittarius, and it's square Neptune. This is a very, very unfavorable. I told people to avoid traveling in these specific dates.
Oh, really?
And what are we seeing? Like, Boeing, the 737 thing blew off the airline, and now they're like, oh, this thing isn't safe again. And also there was a huge storm across the United States that hundreds of flights were delayed. So
past, I'm planning on going away soon.
Today's, I think, pretty much the last day of that terrible square to Neptune. Yeah,
Okay.
so it should get better.
And so do you think if somebody is, wanting to become a trader or even just an investor, do you think that studying your own personal astrology can help you to make better financial decisions?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, certainly it could be helpful. I mean, I think you would want to hire an expert astrologer because, if you make a mistake, it could cost you a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I mean,
And
yeah,
yeah.
very complex. It's like
Yeah.
three-dimensional chess. We're looking at the Bitcoin sort of astrology. We're looking at the general astrology. Sometimes we're looking at our own personal astrology. Hey, is this a good week for trading? Is this a good month for trading? And sometimes they'll just be, I do private consultations with traders that say, hey, just stay out of the market for a couple of weeks here. You've got some big unfavorables, but next month should be much more favorable for you. And yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah. You did a chart for me once.
I remember,
and there was one month where you said to me, in that month, you can do no wrong. You actually said to me, you 100x leverage and you're not going. And I was like, wow. And I actually did really well that month. So, yeah, I was like, wait, what was that? I want to know. I'm only trading in these months when that kind of is there again.
Nice. Otherwise, I wouldn't have got invited on your show, right?
Yeah, 100%. And you also at the time I was considering leaving a place that I was doing market updates for another company, and I wasn't happy. And I said to you, what month should I leave? And you gave me the exact week at the end of March. You said, do it here. This is where you're going to cause the least trouble. And it was an easy exit. So,
oh, perfect.
Thank you for that guidance. Because And you said to me, what would you do? And I said, oh, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe I'll start my own community. And you said, you should do that. Like that.
Yeah, I remember that reading. I was like, what's holding you back? What's stopping you? You should,
100%.
I think you had like 1,000 followers or under 1,000 followers on Twitter at that time. And I was like, you got to get more active on Twitter. And I remember that conversation. You had a big following on YouTube still at that time.
I had an okay following, but yeah, my Twitter was, and I wasn't really looking at it because Twitter wasn't big in Australia. And you said to me, trading is international. Like, get on Twitter. Yeah, it was
exactly. Awesome. That's great. See, that's the power of astrology right there. To do personal readings, and it can really give a lot of insight to people.
I think I'm going to do another one actually because that was really helpful. I'm going to make it all you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to solve all your problems, but it might solve some of them. Might solve a few of them.
There's a lot less problems these days, though.
Seems like it, yeah.
Yeah. Tell me one thing I want to know about you as a trader and, applying astrology to your trading is what does your charting process look like? What is a typical day? Do you look at astrology every day when you?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Charts first, or how does it go? What's your process?
I mean, I'm not, these days, I'm not much of a day or swing trader. We're looking at, I mean, been in crypto now for 6-7 years. I've been through a bunch of cycles, a lot of ups and downs, and it's just exhausting trying to swing and day trade this stuff. I mean, for me, I like the more, like I said at the beginning, the more high time frame setups.
Yeah.
And so but I do have a subscription service that does have a lot of day and swing traders. So I break down, we do a long monthly forecast. So we kind of, I study the whole big picture of the month, and then I put out a forecast for that month. Then I break it down, and we do weekly updates. I break it down day by day, week by week, and we look at also for the more short-term traders. But, I was really, the big call I made, this year was I flipped bullish very quickly on January 4th. I made a very, I was like, this is about to turn around. This is going to blow up right now. And because earlier I wasn't so sure, but I thought the bear market actually was going to go into even March or April. But I changed my mind very quickly in that first week of January, thankfully.
Yes.
And then Bitcoin obviously doubled. then it kind of stalled out later in the year. But September, October, we made some really, really big buy signals, and we said, "You need to pack your bags now." And I think that was one of the best calls that we've ever made. Another time we did that, one of the most successful calls we did was in January of 2019. I gave a really, really big buy signal, Bitcoin at $3,000. And that one, we nailed exactly the blow off top in the last week of June. This is all like time stamped. We gave the strong sell signal. We had a 200 to 300% gains just on spot, just holding spot for 6-month hold, adding occasionally as it was going up. Kind of the same thing now. We gave the big buy signals on it, and we just picked really about 4 or 5 altcoins. I think Link was my September recommend, INJ was my October recommend, Solana was my November recommend, something like this. You don't need to trade 20 different altcoins. The temptation is to go chase all these different things that are moving, and the really thing you got to do is be disciplined and get in early and just relax. I haven't sold anything yet. And that's because of the chart that we're going to look at a little bit later, where we are in the big picture cycle.
Yeah.
And if Bitcoin goes above 50,000, I'll probably take a little bit of profits off, not much, like maybe 10 or 20% from my entries in September. But right now my trading is more like, I think that we have a 12 to 18 month opportunity here. I'm very bullish on crypto into about late May, early June. That's what we're really focused on right now. I do think there's a sell opportunity in late May, early June. And I think we are going to see, my best guess right now, and it's just a guess because it's very hard to predict things months out, but my best guess is that we're going to have a big correction over the summer. The market will finally get very overextended by May and June.
So for those people who are saying we're due for a correction now, you're thinking that correction won't come until around May?
Well, we could see a major correction in March because there's the eclipses, and anybody who's been following the astrology knows the eclipses could always shake things up. There's a very difficult eclipse for Bitcoin specifically in March that I don't like. But overall, the overall big picture to me looks bullish all the way until the end of May, right? So, and this makes sense because the 𝗧𝗿𝗃𝗲𝗹, this is not the derivative ETF that was a blow off top. This is going to bring a lot of new cash into the market, right? Hundreds, thousands of financial advisors now can recommend Bitcoin, some exposure to their clients. Big institutions can now bring a lot of money into the market, as we've been hearing about for months and months. And BlackRock, Fidelity, ARK, all these things, and that's going to hit up against this supply reduction of the halving. Okay, this is a perfect storm. Also, people are starting to talk about the Fed pivot, lowering interest rates, and there's no sign of a recession yet. Okay, so we've got a lot of bullish factors here. This, to me, it's really, is the spot ETF going to get approved or not? This is the first question. The second question is it a sell the news or not to sell?
That's not you. The big question.
Yeah, the ETF, if it gets denied this week, it's going to get approved eventually in the next weeks or months or whatever. The halving is definitely going to happen no matter what. You're going to have increased institutional money coming in. It is going to hit up against a supply reduction of the halving. So numbers going to go up, essentially is what it means. So that would make sense, right? That makes sense. I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of big pullbacks now. Bitcoin could pull back 10 or 20% routinely, unpredictably, randomly. Certainly there could be, manipulation. There could be other factors. So I'm not saying, even in 2021, one of the best years of all time, we had a 50% drawdown for several months. But overall, the big picture astrologically looks bullish all the way into June. Okay. I wouldn't fuck around with it too much. Excuse my language. I think that you don't want to fumble this ball, right? The main thing is just like most people should just keep hold for the next 3 to 4 months and let it all play out. Maybe scaling out slowly as your profits are starting to add up, because nothing's ever guaranteed in crypto, and you want to be locking in if you're way up. But yeah, there'll be bumps along the way, and then March could be a big bump.
Yeah, that could line up then. That my next question to you was, you were talking about May and potentially March. There's a lot of people that are waiting for a pre-halving dump. Do you think
Yeah.
that that's
Yeah.
the possibility in
Yeah.
March?
Yeah, that would be it.
That would be it. Okay, so
That
we're
would
gonna
be it. Yeah, that eclipse. There's the eclipse. The eclipse is in a tough position for Bitcoin specifically, and it's a shitty eclipse in general. So,
so that would
uh,
do a like a buy with every cent you have left kind of moment, right?
it would be, yeah, it would be, but only for a hold into the first couple weeks of June. Then you probably want to be getting out.
Do you think that?
Quickly.
So you don't think that's the end of the bull market then?
No,
Like
so let's go ahead and look at that chart now. Maybe
yeah.
if you have that, you can throw that up there. Yeah, okay. So this is my this is my big chart. A couple other people have been posting these kind of high time frame charts. Doc Money Lizard or whatever. He does a really good job. I don't know if you follow him, but he does a really good time in these high time frame cycle charts. Some other guys are posting those as well, like Wrecked Capital. But this is the monthly chart going back to 2015 with that Heikin Ashi candles to really delineate the trend very clearly. Now you can see on this chart, we're 13 months in. I highlighted the 13-month period from the cycle bottom. So we're about 13 months from the FTX crash, November cycle bottom, right? So you can see where we are, and that's 13 months. The previous two halvings was right before the halving, or just up until the halving. And in this case, we're a couple of months before the halving, but it's really, really similar. So you can see this pattern of the blow off top, followed by a year-long downtrend, followed by the breakout into the halving. And then from the halving takes place usually about 13 months, 13, 14, 15 months after the previous cycle bottom. And you get in a rally into the halving. Now, sometimes there's a sell right before the halving. You saw that in 2020. And I think there was looks like there was one or two red candles on the 2016 halving. But basically, you get that big parabolic move right after the halving. And so we haven't even hit that yet. It's kind of amazing if you look at it. The cycle, is really repeating again. Now, can we say for sure what's going to happen? No, of course not. We can't. All we can say is the bullish conditions are lining up that we spoke about. And we also look at the monthly chart and see, wow, this cycle looks exactly the same as the previous two cycles. And the astrology is bullish. So everything is coming together here. And what was that? It's one of these big traders was like Algo God or something like that. He put out this hilarious tweet. He was like, please, God, let me have the patience to hold to these like absolutely absurd valuations, right? So, I mean, everything's lining up here. I think this is an amazing wealth opportunity that's lining up over the next 6 to 12 to 18 months. Now, we see, now that this isn't delineated on this chart, but essentially you go back and look at it, and in the previous two cycles, the cycle tops out 17, 18 months after the halving, right? So that supply reduction generates a price increase for about a year and a half. And then you get that year-long downtrend wipeout. So definitely, I think you want to be completely out of crypto by Q3, Q4, 2025. This isn't like the stock market retirement thing where you're holding for 5, 10, 15-year timelines. For me, we have a 12 to 18-month timeline for crypto right now. And then you want to get out. And if you've got life-changing money, use it to change your life, upgrade your shit, upgrade your laptop, upgrade your car, upgrade your real estate, whatever it is. But in the shorter term, I think we're going to run until June, and June through August, I think is where we'll see that really sharp pullback. And then we don't really see as good astrology in the second half of 2024. I mean, we'll see, I don't want to get too much into that right now. The main thing I think is just this rally into May and June.
And so do you look out as far as where you think the peak of this next bull market might be? I know you combine.
Yeah, well, that would be October, November quarter. Well, 2025. And I did do an astrological analysis on that. And it's very good. I mean, the astrology backs it up for Q4 2025 and as a cycle top. But of course, it's a guess. I want to make sure. predicting this stuff months, years out in advance is very, very difficult. And that's why, if it was that easy, I would just put out one report for the whole year. And
Yeah.
that's not how it works. That's why we do weekly and monthly updates. And we say, hey, are we on track? And a lot of times we're like, yeah, it's following exactly as we thought it has been, over the past 4 or 5 months. But sometimes you get surprises. Look, it's Bitcoin. It's going to surprise. It's going to catch you off guard, and you're going to make some bad calls. So you've got to, we have to have a very fluid, adaptable, plan, as as a trader, right? You can't get stuck with a fixed, the astrology said, no. The price gives the context to the astrology. If the price action and the technicals change, you got to change your outlook very, very quickly and reinterpret the astrology, because your interpretation may have been completely wrong.
Astrology can't predict prices, can it? It's just a direction.
No, I make price predictions with technical analysis based on astrology. I did, look at if you throw up I could throw up a regular weekly chart. The resistance is 46.7 on the weekly chart. It's the super key resistance level right now, and that's where it is. So yeah, the previous, 2022 top, right, was that 46.6. And lo and behold, well, that's where we are, right? Exactly 46.6, right? So wicked up slightly above that. So we're at the top of this key resistance zone. MACD, look, historically, if we compress, MACD can go a lot higher on the weekly. In the bigger parabolic moves we saw in 2021, the MACD went way, way, way higher. Plenty of room to run. Now, want to point out something real quick here that I forgot to mention on the monthly. Look at this monthly MACD, and I use the MACD a lot. Yeah, it's a super basic TA, but look at this monthly MACD. So much room to move up monthly MACD. So that's really confirming my suspicion of a month-long rally. And if we get a breakout above this 46.6, 46.7 level, then we're going to go right up to 51, I think. Yeah. There's really nothing stopping us from hitting 51. Now, I've been giving about a 75 to 80% probability of the ETF getting approved. Over the past few weeks, we've been, putting out a lot of stuff. The basic message for my subscribers is you're not bullish enough for what's coming. And we could get denied, right? So, certainly...
Tell us in any way whether we're getting denied or not. Does it look bullish?
Right. Yeah, well, like I said, I'm giving a 75 to 80% probability of approval. We'd like to think astrology can always cleanly predict exactly what's going to happen, but the reality is, oftentimes there's a couple of mixed factors. So it is really just giving you a probability setup, just like regular TA. There's just a few irritating unfavorables that make it impossible to say for sure 100% we get the approval, right? And I'm not going to go out on a limb and say it's 100% guaranteed. I'll never do that. So yeah, there's a 20 to 25% chance they do deny it. I think it's a real temporary thing in the big picture, but of course the market will dump. So then the question is where could we see the pullback? 42, I think now is kind of a potential support level. 43.2. Now, in the big scheme of things, I think the interesting thing is for technical analysts is like, man, even a dump all the way back down to like 37 would still be incredibly bullish. Yeah, like a $10,000 move down would actually look like a pretty healthy retrace. Just retesting old support. It's still by far a higher low. It still continues the uptrend line. Another, interesting thing, if you look at that monthly chart, is that we're in an uptrend still from 2018. So even if we went all the way back down and tested this uptrend line, even at 33, it would still be bullish. So there's really no bearish scenario here. It's really. Now, okay, $12,000 move down, that would be a huge wipeout, but it's still bullish. That's how bullish this chart is right now. That's how bullish it is. So it's hard to find it in the astrology, anything that's super bearish right now until really March.
So people waiting for the big pullback to buy, we're waiting for the eclipse essentially in March. And if we don't get it, we're waiting until May.
People have been waiting for this big pullback for months.
There's a lot of people that never bought because they thought we were going to 12K and here we are.
Well, that's the other thing. Bitcoin's just been surprising to the upside all of 2023 for the most part. And I think that continues. I think it continues to surprise to the upside.
Yeah.
And, the hype cycle's just getting going. I mean, Jim Cramer's talking about Bitcoin again. I mean, I don't really pay attention to him too much, but he's talking about it. It's making some headlines. As we said in the big picture cycle, you can see we're 20, 25, 30% into the historical bull run. So a lot more room to go.
100%. And something really interesting, I was talking to someone I know that works at an exchange yesterday, and he was saying to me that even with Bitcoin's price where it is currently, the people that were around in the last cycle have still not yet come back to open their accounts again to get back in on this cycle.
Totally.
And we're we don't even have new users yet. So we know the price goes crazy when new people come in. That hasn't even happened yet.
100%. I totally agree with that. And let's look at another chart here real quick, guys. Here's the total crypto chart. Here's the total crypto market cap weekly. So here's a chart I show a lot of people was in my subscriber updates. Again, I think, what does it say? When in doubt, zoom out, right? So first of all, we're in an uptrend from December 2018. That's kind of a big deal. Now, if you look at the 2017, the infamous blow off top of December 2017, we hit 700 billion market cap. The FTX crash only hit 750 billion. It hit 3 trillion all-time high. A huge wipeout, but basically a bullish retest of the old resistance level as a support now and maintain the uptrend line. Now, 750 billion. So we're at 1.66 trillion. So we basically doubled since the FTX collapse. But we're still only half of the old all-time high. And, this chart for technical analysts is screaming, we're definitely going back to the old all-time high of 3 trillion, right? I mean, bullish retest, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher highs. Look where this is going. This is going to 3 trillion, probably will double to 6 trillion. So there's a lot of different ways you can look at it. And to me, they all really add up. They all really add up as very bullish. And the astrology, I think, confirms, and the previous halving cycles confirm, and the macro factors confirm. So the only thing that could derail this is if a recession does kind of come out of the blue. I mean, right now we don't, in the United States, which is really what everybody cares about, we don't have a recession. Unemployment is maintaining at 50-year lows. Inflation is coming down. GDP numbers are up. Now people will say, oh, those are all manipulated. Well, whatever. These are the historical markers that we use, and they all look good. Now, there's bigger problems, structural problems with debt. Obviously, the U.S. is under a huge debt problem. That's a big picture problem. But in just the short to mediate term, we don't see a recession. It looks like the Fed is going to nail a soft landing. Now, that could change, okay? The astrology gets worse in the summer. So that's where we would be concerned. Not only does the Bitcoin astrology get worse in the summer, but the general astrology gets worse from August through December. And that's where we would be looking maybe more for a recession, or just at least a more stall out.
Very interesting. For people who are watching this and want to learn more and want to learn about astrology and technical analysis for themselves, what do you have courses, or what do you have available for people?
Well, my mainstay is I just put out my 2024 forecast report. So it's an overview of the astrology of the whole year. And I'll send you a copy, by the way. It also has a Bitcoin trading guide with all the important signals for Bitcoin. It has stock recommends. We recommended NVIDIA as our top recommend for the second year in a row. In 2023, it was recommended at $140. I recommended it in the 2024 report at $480. It just made a new all-time high of $530 today. NVIDIA, we think AI is going to continue to blow up in 2024. But there's a whole crypto section and just going over all the alignments. Patreon is my whole financial astrology content where we do the monthly and the weekly updates. So you can check that on my Twitter feed. at Astro Crypto Guru. I did do a 6-week live stream online class in Introduction to Astrology and Financial Astrology. We're going to be releasing that next week as an online class.
That's amazing. So how do people access to that? Like, if you can send me links, we'll put them in the description of the video.
Sure. Yeah, I have like my online store where people can access. I do a few private consultations a week. So if people want to have like an astrology private reading for themselves, I do that. It's not the main thing I focus on. A lot of what I'm doing is really writing content for my subscribers. We've got about 300 subscribers on Patreon, and they're all very happy right now, knock on wood. Hope we can keep that up. But yeah, we're going to be releasing that course. It's 15 hours of tutorial videos with 6 study guides, and that's the most recent thing that we've done. So we're hoping to nail this cycle. For me, this is really the 3rd crypto cycle. So if I'm trying to learn from all the mistakes of the previous 2 cycles and try to, really nail it this time.
Amazing. I look forward to it. I'm a happy customer of yours, that's for sure.
Thank you so much. But yeah, Astro Crypto Guru on Twitter, that's kind of a portal to all my content. We're putting out a ton of free content on there. I'm really trying to inspire people to get more interested in astrology. And, financial astrology is a beautiful gateway into astrology because it's quantitative. People can see, oh man, I mean, people tell me like, I'm shocked at how accurate you've been. And I really can see the astrology working. Whereas before I just thought it was some big woo-woo thing that I didn't understand. When you can see the numbers in the markets, it really gives you a sense of how the astrology is working.
Absolutely. Well, I will put all of your social media links down below. So guys, if you want to know more about Crypto Damus or follow all of his updates, be sure to check out the links in the description of the video. Thank you so much for your time today and for sharing your knowledge with us. It's been amazing to have you on.
Sweet. Thanks so much, Annii. I love being here, and thanks for inviting me. It was a great conversation. And let's this is a unique opportunity we have right now. So let's all make the most of it in 2024. It's a dragon year. It's a wood dragon year. Dragon years are the most auspicious and the Chinese cycle, and lots of opportunities.
We've got everything on our side. All we have to do, guys, is not liquidate it.
Don't use too much leverage. Low leverage spot. You can't mess this up. Low leverage, a little bit of low leverage, mostly spot. Just hold and don't get too fancy.